What is up? This is Kyle with Free Speech Geek. This video is just a quick snippet from our latest podcast, FSG Weekly. If you like this video, be sure to give it a like and be sure to visit freespeechgeek.com for the latest con news. Now let's get into this. Hey, what is up? I'm with Adam. I'm with Steven. Guys, what's up?
Oh, nothing much. Glad to be doing this.
Yeah, great way to start the week off, honestly, to, kind of
Troubleshoot. Yes, I agree. Yeah, but today we are talking The Boys, as well as a little bit of talk about the fandom of The Boys, the state of The Boys. Maybe compare it to another show that finished up last week. You guys might have heard of it, The Acolyte. I didn't finish it. I'm not gonna lie.
I started.
But I do know what the fans are talking about, and that's what we're here to talk about. But first off, let's talk about season finale of The Boys. General thoughts.
No comic background experience from watching The Boys. What I really liked about getting into The Boys in the first place was the idea of the superhero kind of like, but real, which means going into like human emotion, how people could be, and the show's been great. I think once it got to like season 3, I felt like sometimes some of the scenes would be shocking just for the sake of it. And I feel like season 4 did a better job of when it was showing something shocking, it was in service of an interesting plot point.
Mhm.
So I will say, and it's interesting, like, for instance, some of the most boring scenes for me was, I forgot the character's name, Frenchie and Makamo?
Oh,
The girl, yeah.
Kimono.
Oh.
No, anyway, I felt like they were just going back and forth too much with that thing we talk about where people don't really talk about their emotions, but this was like overtime. And then they had the fight scene that was like, because she was on the drugs, right? And everything looked weird. Like, to me, that fell flat. That was like, well, let's just try to make something interesting. But
yeah, I mean, Frenchie kind of had this like relationship, and then he turns himself in for being a killer, and then he gets out, conveniently. Like there was a lot of weirdness going on with Frenchie's storyline this season that I think didn't get resolved in a very satisfying way. Would you say that that's a fair?
Yeah, because I like what it was getting to by the end of it. Like, I think by season 4, we should just have them in a fully like loving relationship, and then it's more about things getting in the way of them rather than their personal things getting in the way. Like we've been seeing that from the beginning. Like her at the end actually saying something, I thought was amazing. I love that because I think that's a cool character. But I think
spoiler-free show, by the way.
Oh yeah, but what worked a lot for me and what I think works with the show, especially season 4, is the huge like kind of the setting change near the end. Like leading up to that too, like you thought, okay, they have to put this in motion and it's so hard to do it. Once they did, the whole world changed more than anyone expected, except for obviously the smartest girl in the world. She was planning for that. And then I will just end where this season did the things I like a lot, especially scenes with Homelander. Like when he is put up against something, even the audience questions as how do they answer this in this universe? And then you see him confront and then be that scary hero. So
seeing these characters fleshed out, Mother's Milk being kind of like this rock to the group is pretty awesome, considering if they stripped out a lot of his character from the comics. So making him this neurotic, ADHD riddled kind of person that still like holds the group together, even though he's very flawed himself, works. I really, really enjoy that. His character is really grown. The stuff with him and his wife last season was kind of annoying, but
I think
works
they
this season.
tied everything up with him and his wife with the killing of Todd, right?
Yeah.
wow.
I mean, it's like basically any conflict that he had with his wife prior, has been resolved as a result of just getting the new man out of the way.
And that's the crux of his character in the comics, is this like his family, right? And we see that a little bit here, right? With his family, he brings it up. His grandfather with Soldier Boy in season 2.
Was it season 2? I thought it was season 3.
Season
3 was the season of Soldier Boy.
Yes. But we see that he's this like flawed character that's greatly affected by this, and I think it works. You don't need the lactating super milk powers.
So interesting. He had superpowers in the comic.
Yeah,
that's really cool that they chose not to do that because I think it works better.
In the comics, V is like essentially what the Temp V was last season. That's what V is in the comics, and it doesn't kill you.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's just like, let's go beat some people up, inject, and we're gonna go kick some ass now.
Okay, that is kind of cool.
Yeah.
And they were kind of doing that anyway, with
Yeah.
especially with
A little bit. Yeah.
yeah.
Definitely. I enjoy Huey. I love Huey's character. I
Yeah.
think when I look at younger people, I go, Jack Quaid, he represents the youth. Be like Jack Quaid, people. Be like that guy. But he got raped twice in this season. Let's talk about that.
Oh
And
my
just two
god.
episodes
Yeah.
in a row.
Yeah.
And I'm not the one that is all over this. Like a lot of people on Twitter are kind of complaining about it. But two in a row does make me go, it's a little much.
Well, and I think a lot of people were reacting to Kripke's comments about it, right? Where it was like,
Yes.
oh, around the around the writers' room, we thought it was hilarious that this, he's going through these character building moments, and it's like, well, I don't know if hilarious is the term I would use, but and I don't. Let me be clear, is like I think that those scenes were great and should be in the show.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Um,
because I don't think it directly it's not like this guy was going through some, and I don't know how to say, like, some trauma that like, for instance, one, it was he thought it was his girlfriend,
Mhm.
and then the other one was kind of a funny thing because he's pretending to be this person on purpose to go to where that crap happens, and it's almost like funny, like getting involved into that.
well, and it's also his childhood hero, like,
Oh yeah, that
Oh,
was
like,
right.
another.
I think that that's sort of the kind of bitter irony of it, and
Wow. Yeah.
it's unfortunate that they didn't take more time to kind of unpack some of the things that happened with Huey. He was kind of a stoic figure this season because it's like, losing his father, seeing his
Yes.
mother again, the sexual assaults that we've,
Yeah.
referenced. He has been through the ringer this season, and in the finale, the one person that he's kind of loved and, respected this entire time just throws it all in his face, and it's like,
Yeah, that is an
maybe cut
interesting
him some
take.
slack.
How he's a great character of this show.
Yeah.
Like, I really love how, and yeah, he went through a lot this season, but I almost felt like he was a side character this
Yeah.
season.
A little bit, yeah.
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 Felt that way.
He definitely took a step back considering the role that he's been playing. There was also, I tell me if I'm wrong, no Billy Joel this season.
I don't recall any Billy Joel, actually.
Yeah, they kind of dropped that after a while, right? I feel like there was always a Billy Joel song to go with what Huey's doing, and
Oh,
then
yeah.
bam, dropped it. I know last season they really focused on Mother's Milk, so they did a lot of hip hop, but this season, music wise, a little directionless.
Yeah, I did not even think about the music.
I
Yeah.
mean, I have to say, like, I really enjoyed this season and, especially the finale, but, the longer I go thinking about it, I'm like, "Man, it was really kind of directionless." Like, I think they saved it with the finale.
Mhm.
There was a lot of good stuff that happened, but, it's like the whole thing with Sage, for instance, I'm like, you could have had the entire season without her,
Mhm.
and the way that you escape criticism of, having the smartest character in the world that, has this master plan is you take her off camera for 2, 3 episodes and then have her reappear in the finale and say,
It
"I
was
did it all."
yeah. That is
Like,
interesting. But you know what? Another thing I got from this season that I love is the actor that plays A-Train
Mhm.
is so good at being that kind of torn superhero. Like, in
yeah.
his face, like the way he acts in his face, it looks like someone that knows what he's doing is bad, but he's at that point where he's going to be doing these bad things to the point
Right.
where he's wanting to do good and he hates, not because he doesn't like to do good, but he knows he's going to get Homelander will just splatter him any second.
Right.
And so I think, yeah, A-Train, like anytime A-Train showed up, I thought was some of the coolest moments. And I hope he gets more time. Like, I would love if this next season he just joins the boys. That, and maybe that's in the comics, I don't know, but I like that idea.
I assume he's gonna have a redemption arc of some sort.
Seems like
I don't think he's gonna live though, if I had to guess, but he will redeem himself.
Hmm.
Yeah, he's pretty much an asshole, but he does need that redemption arc. He was also in every single episode except for the last episode, which is interesting.
Hmm.